stability series is going to be the closed kinetic chain upper extremity stability test. And now this test is going to be assessing dynamic stability and proprioception. And the reason that we use this test is it's one of the only upper limb tests that is at least partly closed chain, and also going to provide us some normative data. Now obviously, depending on the cohort or the population that you're working with, this will have a bit of a range, and obviously looking healthy versus rehab as well will show big differences. However, there is some data behind this one. It's one of the only upper limb stability tests that we have. So we're going to go through this today. Now, what you can see here is that I've lined out our 91 centimeter gap. Now that's what the data says that we need. Obviously, if you have a really short person, 91 centimeters is going to be quite wide for this test. So you may decide to adjust it accordingly. Obviously then the norm data is not applicable. However, making sure that this test is specific to the person and just repeatable to them is the most important thing here. So what this test is we're going to start with our hands either side of these markers, 91 centimeters apart. And the idea is for 15 seconds, max repetitions from like a plank position, we're going to tap the opposite hand. Now you get one, I guess, faulty attempt where during that 15 seconds you may not reach the entire way over, and that's classed as a warning. And then if you do that again, then you cancel that test or trial run and you need to repeat that again. The idea with this to get an accurate result is to look at this test 3 times, giving about a minute rest between each attempt. So I'm going to jump in and show you what it would look like. So coming down into this position, make sure that your client is set up and they get a practice run as well, so they're not just going guns blazing from the start. So you would get them up into their plank position, and then their feet, it doesn't actually dictate how wide they need their feet to be. Obviously wider is going to be easier, so I would make sure that you measure the width that you choose and keep it the same. As a good rule of thumb, keeping them shoulder width apart is going to be a great starting point. Now again, those hands are going to be outside, so we don't want to be coming across. It says a minimum of 91, so you can be out here if you want to, but you cannot be on those markers, okay? Making sure that the client is aware of that. So this would be my starting position. I'm going to go shoulder width apart here. We also don't want our bum up in the air. We want to stay down and be bracing. And we're going to come across, tap, come across, tap. You're obviously going to shift, yeah? The bum's going to move. We're going to come up in the air a little bit. It is primarily looking at our ability to shift the weight out of the shoulder and then into the other shoulder, okay? So I'm going to go for a couple of seconds and show you what it looks like for full screen. So that would be an example of how you would do this test, obviously counting them down from 15 seconds and giving them a warning with that as well. And give this one a crack.